welcome here. Welcome everybody. This is Mr. Francis. This is going to be a spin-off series of the Chat Room podcast. You all know everybody on Chat Room podcast, Senator, everyone on there, Shook, Mayor. It's going to be a spin-off series, okay, called Francis and Friends. Today we got my brother. I've known this dude for years, man, back to high school, before high school for years.
Right.
I knew his brother, man, from back in Toronto. I know him as Froggy. I call him Froggy. Appreciate you for joining me, my brother. Appreciate you, man. How are you?
Hey, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. It's a pleasure of mine to be here and to be a guest on your show, man.
I appreciate you, man. Nah, man. So I'll just jump into this right now. Like, we both grew up playing ball. I don't know if you've been following NBA a little bit here and there.
Come on, I watch it. I'll never stop watching it. My basketball mind doesn't turn off. But go ahead.
I hear you. But all the injuries going on in the league right now. You got Luka out for like another 2 games. They said they got D-Book out for 2 months. You got Middleton out for 2 months. Not 2 months, sorry, 2 weeks. Sorry. You got Middleton out for 2 weeks. You got Ben Simmons just coming back, or hopefully come back from injury in about a game or 2. Your report just came out today that Joel Embiid hurt his hand in the last game. You got Scotty Barnes injuring himself, game 1, ankle sprain. What are your thoughts on the makeup of the NBA playoffs right now? Like, with all the injuries going on, who do you see coming out?
Well, the thing about basketball and about the league is that if you look at the last maybe 5 years, 7 years, it always came down to who's the healthiest.
Healthiest, yeah.
Ends up being it. It's a rat's race through the season, through the playoffs, and then trying to get to the championship healthy. Yeah. Giannis was injured last year, ended up getting through. That's why they won. But every year, whether it's the year with Kawhi, where Durant snapped the Achilles, whether it's the year before that, where it was a Draymond or Steph or somebody was up, every year somebody's getting hurt. And it's usually in the playoffs, and it dictates what's going to happen. This year so far, it's nothing different, right? And we've seen this happen to Chris Paul numerous years.
Numerous times, yeah.
Every, and whether
it's cursed, man. It's cursed, man. Every year it's something. And this year he's kind of healthy right now.
Yeah. But no, remember he missed with the thumb. He missed about 6 weeks. The playoffs before the All-Star, right before All-Star to shut him down. But it's just part of the game, bro. Injuries is part of the game. It's how the champions will always end up being whoever has the most healthiest bodies ready to go, and that's going to be what's going to transpire. Nothing's going to change. It's going to be like this next year too. So
yeah. It's always that way, man. It's always that way. Like, it's tough. Like, coming into the year, I'm like, all right, I'm a Laker fan, so I thought Lakers was going to go, but I'm not going to really dive into Lakers because I'm pissed off about them. Hopefully we can make some moves and get things better. But
same here.
But
I'm not a Laker fan. I'm a LeBron guy. So one of those guys who's LeBron guys. I'm a LeBron guy. Okay, yeah. So.
I hear you. So coming into the playoffs, I definitely had the Bucks winning. But now it's like with Middleton out, like they should still get by Chicago, but I don't know.
Yeah, what's gonna happen is with all these guys injured, usually they'll come back. So I see D-Book coming back by game 2 or 3, or maybe 4 of the next series. They're usually out. When they say they're out 3 to 4 weeks, it's going to be 2 weeks. It's going to rush it. It's going to be 24 hours, 24/7 rehab and physio and all types of shit. You know what I mean? And they got the best doctors, the best everything. So these guys will rush back. Remember, KD came back from an Achilles injury and played the game, and the thing snapped again because the injury was too severe. Which is an injury which required him to be out for a whole year. But he rushed it in a month, 2 months, or whatever the fuck the number was. So these guys with these 3, 4 weeks, 2 weeks injuries, they're gonna come back in 2 weeks. And they'll be back.
It'll be good.
Well, they're definitely going to be back. They ain't out for the like. I just saw a report that Robert Williams is coming back.
Come back,
I,
yeah.
I thought he was going to be gone until next year.
Well,
You know,
he actually had a procedure done. Like he had a what surgery did he have? Was it
it was an ACL or MCL. It was a
yeah,
tear.
it was a tear, but he had some kind of procedure done in his knee. So I thought he would be done for a longer time, but they say he's coming back. Like they said he's traveling with the team, so either he's gonna play game 3 or game 4, but he's gonna come back.
Yeah, but bro, we're talking about a month ago. He was a month and a half, maybe 6 weeks, maybe 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So you see how fast these guys are coming back. So yeah, a lot of these dudes that are injured now are gonna come back. You know, these injuries used to have motherfuckers out for 3, 4, 5 months. Not today. Today, guys, if a guy's supposed to be out for 3 months, he'll be back in a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the playoffs, so they're gonna rush it. They're gonna rush it even more.
Sure. Especially when you're a guy like Middleton is super important to that team. Booker is super important. Like those are pieces where like they're super integral to what those teams want to do. So we'll see them on the court sooner or later. But yeah, speaking about hoops, man. Speaking about hoops, we both came from hooping in Galloway in the building, Heron Park, Boys and Girls Club. Talk to me about that journey from being a kid, growing up in Toronto, hooping in Toronto, playing ball, and then ending up in Texas. Like,
you know, so funny. Like you know, so funny, David. A lot of people have no idea that I used to be like a serious hooper. Like they have no clue. Like people have no idea that I was like very serious about this shit. And you've known me since I was maybe 12, 13, something like that. 14, so you saw how, you know, we would train and I'd play AAU and Scarborough Blues, and then I played for Jamal McGlure. I played with everybody and traveled with every guy. It's so funny because when I look up now and I see, you know, you see Tristan, you see Kelly Olynyk, you see Corey Joseph, you see Dwight Powell. I played with all these guys. These are guys in my class. These are all my guys that were either my teammate or guys that played against. From the age of 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So 17. So it's pretty crazy. Like, and people don't know that I was like, now you'll never hear me talk about basketball. You'll never hear me, mind you, but they call me Froggy for a reason. I started dunking at 13. You know what I mean? So people, so that's probably the only time I ever really, somebody walked up to me, they're like, yo, like, why do they call you Froggy? And I was like, I was 13, like, you play ball? Like, bro, I play ball. And you know what's so crazy about in America? Because I'm pretty big sized guy. They think that I played football.
Okay.
They don't associate me with being able to play basketball because I'm about 6'3", 220, 225. And they're like, oh, you play football? I'm like, nah, nigga, I played basketball. You know what I mean? And I was nice. But I know I was nice, but can you tell me what kind of player I was? Because I don't I don't really remember. Like I remember what I remember.
Athletic. The one thing I remember for sure, athletic and playing ball in. All right, so this is the one thing that everyone knows, that like when you play ball in Galloway at the rec center. So the rec center, the basketball rim is 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
Right? The backboard is like 12 feet tall, right?
Yeah.
And then the roof is 13 feet tall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
the court is pinched.
Yeah, it's pinched. So like so you can't shoot it, you can't get no arc on your drain, nothing. Like everything you do gotta be going to the rim.
Yeah.
Right, gotta be going to the rim. So you either gotta be able to take contact, get to the rim, or you gotta get over guys.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I remember. You were athletic, you were able to get to the rim, bounce off guys. And one thing I tell guys all the time, especially out here when I'm coaching ball out here, like you don't call fouls.
Yeah.
We never call foul. I remember playing ball with like Preem and these guys. These guys are older than me. And like I go to the rim, young guy go to the rim. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
They hit clothesline. They're like, get up. I'm like, that's a foul. Like, we're not calling a foul out here.
Nah.
I'll never get fouled.
When you call you weren't allowed to call those. Like, you're not calling that. Like, he's stupid. And it's a big argument once you start calling bullshit fouls, and everybody's like, yeah, bro. what's wrong with this guy? And you're playing, and intimidation is such a huge factor in the game. And then so it's, and I always tell people, it's like I played, and I remember being very young, between, remember, we used to play in Southside G-Way, in that little rec center, but then we'll go to Heron Park,
which is a big gym,
which was a bigger gym, which you had two games going on with the older guys on one side, and then the young guys on one side. So we'd play with the young guys. You're the young guys, you're 13, 12, 14, 15, you're playing here, but you're graduating once you can get to the older guys side. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, by the time I was about 14, 15, I was able to start playing with those older guys consistently. And that's when, like, my confidence was just rising, bro. Because that to me let me know, like, if I could play. Remember Twin and those crazy songs?
Twin. Everybody, man. Twin, Chubbs, freaking Cream, Silk. Everybody
used to be there. Tall man, everybody was there, man. And Vet, and if you're able to survive those guys and play through those, I was like, oh man, I could play. I could play anybody, from whatever hood, whatever block. You know what I mean? Look, this is how I looked at it. Okay, I adopted this mindset, and I think every young athlete should adopt this mindset. Right. First thing I try to do is I say, all right, I'm going to be the best player within my friends. All right. Then I'm going to be the best player in my grade. Then I'm going to be the best player in my school. Then I'm going to be the best player in my conference. Then I'm going to be the best player just in my region. Like, like I'm going to be the best in that area. Then I'm going to be the best in Scarborough. Then I'm going to be the best in Toronto. Then I'm going to be the best in Ontario. Like, that's how I looked at it. I was like, okay, because once I knew I could take care of all the men on the street, I was like, all right, who's out? So now I'm teaming up with these guys from Vern, me and Jason Calise, and all these dudes, and Onyx Blackwood, and
Andrew Gilbert was there too.
Remember Tomlinson?
Yeah, AT.
Oh man, listen.
He's not here now with me.
That's a bad motherfucker right there, man. Hey, tell him I said what up. Tell that motherfucker I said what up. That's a bad motherfucker.
That's my dude.
Hey, listen, man. That motherfucker right there, bro, for a little guy, bro, nasty, bro. Tough, I played with him at least 2-3 years, like on the same team. At some point, I was Jamal McGlure. We played for Jamal McGlure. For Jamba for 2 years. I was like, and then he went to Pope or MT.
Eastern. AT was at Eastern, and then he came to Westfield for a year.
That's where it was at. It was Westfield and Eastern.
Westfield, yeah.
And just an arrogant guy on the court, but I used to really good guys. But we had so many good guys in our generation and in our time. I always tell people, our generation and our time is who really broke it all. Crazy, because that's when guys started going first pick, second pick, third pick, fourth pick. Like, I knew who Andrew Barnes. I knew who Andrew Wiggins was way before he became. I knew who Anthony Bennett was way before. I was in the gym with these guys in Falstaff training with Huggy and those guys. You know what I mean? So and Nicholas wasn't Stack. Nicholas Staukis. I knew who that kid was. He had big ass feet. I remember that kid. Those guys are 2-3 years younger than me. You know what I mean? So I saw all of these guys coming through the pipeline. And either I played against them or they were around us around that time. So just graduating from going from the hood to being able to play all across Toronto, then to be able to represent Canada and be part of the teams that started going to America and playing in these tournaments, in these AAU tournaments. I was like, yo. So once I saw that, by the time I was like 15, I started seeing that. By the time I was 16, I was like fully embedded in that. 15, 16, I was like, all right, bro. This is a wrap. And realistically, bro, I wanted to go to West Hill. I really wanted to go to West Hill, but I was such a bad kid. And you know what they said, all the bad kids in Toronto. So I went boarding, but the boarding got some nice players too.
They have some guys who go hoop. I remember.
We had some good players, and we could go. You know what I mean? But I really wanted to go to West Hill, man, because my sister went to West Hill with y'all. So, and then obviously Shep and everybody went there. So I was like, damn, and you were there. All you guys were there. So
all of us were there. Yeah.
Man, bro, I wish I could go to West Hill, bro. You know what I mean?
Westfield was like, I talk all the time, like that time at Westfield was crazy. Like I could walk the hallways and I see Jay Shep. I walk the hallways and I see a man like Kyle Johnson. You know, these guys
Yo,
were
what was that
pros.
one dude that came that 1 year, bro? Him and Shep played together. I think it was Shep's 5th year or 4th year.
Nathan Skinner?
Nathan Skinner, bro.
Yeah, bro.
He was a problem.
Crazy.
He was like, what, 6'4", 6'5"?
He dunked everything.
Everything, bro. I remember seeing that guy. And I was a freshman. I was in grade 9. And we had to go play against these motherfuckers. So I'm in grade 9. I'm playing varsity. So
yeah.
I've never played junior. I've always played higher. You know what I mean? So being in grade 9 and I'm playing varsity, and you know, and back in those days, you had 5th-year guys. You know what I mean? Shaq and Skinner. These are 20 years old, goddamn. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like 13, I'm like 14, bro. And I'm like, bro. And I'm playing, and I'm just like, and I'm playing. I remember going to Westfield playing, and I'm like, bro, these guys are huge, bro. That's all I can think about.
Crazy.
Man.
And
it's crazy because y'all coach. What y'all's coach name again?
Dawkins.
Oh man, that was my dog, but he was a good dude.
Yeah. No, that was crazy. Like the one thing I remember vividly about like playing ball at Westfield is that like it was like intimidating, man, because you're on the court, but the court is like down, and the fans are above you.
Yes.
So like when they're on you, it feels like they're literally like on your head.
Yeah, but it was fucking Shep, bro. Shep would just dunk everything on you.
Dunk everything.
It was so intimidating, bro. It was so intimidating at 14.
It's crazy because now like when I'm recruiting and stuff, like I'll go to high school games out here in Calgary, and I watch like these like high schoolers. And I'm like, yo, like this is like you guys are like 4th years, or like, and I'm like, you guys look like you guys are juniors. I'm like, when I was in high school, like Shep was fucking like 6'6", 220. You know, like
no, that's what happened. Like, so by the time I got to grade, so I did grade 9, grade 10 in Toronto, and then I went to the States grade 11. And when I got to grade 11 in the States, by the time I got there, I was I ended up going to school in Texas, prep school in Texas, because most of the guys that I was playing with, AAU with, always starting to tell them to go to the States that same year. I'm like, bro, how's everybody going to the States? Like, what's going on? Like, I knew one thing. I knew, look, if I stayed in Toronto, I'm just gonna get in trouble, bro, because I just kept getting in trouble. That's why I ended up in boarding. You know what I mean? Because you know I was in the streets, and you know I was playing ball, but I was doing work at the same time at 13, 14 years old. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I knew that I couldn't keep doing both things at the same time. And if I wanted to make something out of myself, I had to get out of the environment, because the environment was just too crazy. And it's not so much that is bad people, but it's just that the environment requires you to be a certain way to survive. Facts. So if you're not that way, and you're not, it's going to be hard to survive. And by the time you dip your foot in the game, you can't get out the game because you're already in the game. So it's better you just don't get in the game. And that's why I was always good to hang with guys like you and guys like fucking Spud, and because they were never in the game. They would like help me stay out the game. Let's go hoop. But if I'm chilling with fucking these hood ass motherfuckers, then you know we're playing ball, but we're doing something bad right after we're done playing ball. You know what I mean? But going to the States really helped my game a lot, because when I got there, they ruled me ineligible my junior year, which is grade 11. So I play varsity grade 9, grade 10, and I get to thing, and they're like, you can't play. Like they basically said it was a recruiting violation, and I had to sit out that year or forfeit all the games, and so I had to sit out the year. So I did everything I did in the States in 1 year, grade 12, and that was it. And I got all my offers, and I got everything in 1 year. So while these niggas were playing all these years, but I was just looking for more competition, bro. I needed more, you know what I mean? And that's what I was searching for, bro. I just had to search, and I had to get out the environment, but I had to search for more competition. When I got to the States, bro, these niggas is 6'10", 6'8", 40-inch verticals. The white guys is shooting out the gym, 6'7", legitimate small forward, He's in grade 11, bro. He's 6'7", shooting out the gym. You know what I'm saying? And then you got all these athletes, niggas 7 foot dunking on, bro. It was like, and I played, and I played with a lot of these guys. I played against a lot of these guys, bro. Bro, I go down a list of dudes I played against, bro, in that time. But luckily, what happened was I was ineligible to play in high school my junior year, but I ended up playing AAU for Team Texas, and I traveled with that team, and that really helped my recruiting.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It really helped my recruiting.
So like that's where a lot of people get their kind of look is on that AAU circuit. That's why you see a lot of these things opening up now, like EYBL, all these things opening up, because that's where a lot of these coaches are going. They're going to these tournaments to go watch these kids play, like like Peach Jam, all these things on like the Diamond League, all these things that all the kids are playing in them. But yeah, so like you and I kind of touched on it a little bit prior to kind of recording and stuff, but like there's one memory that I'll never forget, man. You and I, Boys and Girls Club, this is before you kind of went away to the US, whatever, and we were in competing with the Boys and Girls Club, and you're like, yo, Francis, I'm really about to like, I'm really about to get out of here and do some things, I'm like, yeah, man, yeah, do you. And before I know it, I look, a few years pass, and then you're on IG with like Jose Reyes and all these guys on IG. I'm like, yo, like Froggy's really doing this thing, Like, what was that transition like from like going from somebody who was trying to hoop, to now somebody who's like stepping in the world of like agents and businesses and kind of talking to like these like professional athletes like Jose Reyes. So at the time, Blue Jays were it,
So let me tell you something. So I go to school in Texas, high school. I end up getting recruited by a lot of schools. Here's another pattern. Again, this is for the young guys to understand and listen to this. I get in trouble again. Now this time in trouble in the States, right? So now these people take sports very seriously in the States. So they invest a lot of money into their arenas. So I'm in the papers every week, like for all these games and all of this, this Canadian sensation. They call me Maple Leaf. I mean, they call me everything, right? So it's a big deal, So I finally get to play my senior year, and we go on a 25-game winning streak. And the year before I played, they won 3 games. The year that I played, we won 25 in a row. Levels, like, I was so cheesed, bro. I was so angry. I was like, because I had to sit there every game and just watch these guys. I'm like, I'm gonna eat these guys. So I came in with a vengeance from before the season started. But the AAU helped me a lot. It gave me a lot of confidence because I went around the country and played against the best players in our class and the class under me and above me in the summer. So by the time I come back and I'm playing in my division, I was like, oh, I'm gonna kill all these dudes. So I start playing. I like to tell people I was Draymond before Draymond. That's kind of how I played. Like, so I could kind of do everything. You know what I mean? I could pass, I could score, I could rebound, I could defend. I really like to defend. So long story short, I play that, and then I get recruited to go to college. Well, I get in trouble in my grade 12 year. I lose a lot of scholarship offers, right? And then I'm down to probably like 1 or 2 that want to recruit me. Either I go to JUCO now or I go to D2. So I'm like, man, fuck it. At that time, JUCO just didn't sound good to me. If I had to do it again, I'd probably go to JUCO. If I could do it again, I would have went to JUCO. I would have did 1 year in JUCO, and then I would have transferred over to a D1. But long story short, I get in trouble. I get kicked out of college. I get kicked out of not high school. I got to go to a D2. I end up going to a school, a university in Texas, Texas Baptist University. Play ball over there. Freshman year, I get there freshman year, and same thing, bro. It's like a pattern. Right? It's because the hood mentality
still there.
It didn't leave yet. Like, it was still in my head. So it would be dumb shit. It'd be like a man says something like, yo, bro, are you dumb? Like, crack. And I would go at it, like, because where I'm from, like, you get busy, you know what I mean? So it's like, these States kids thought it was a joke because
they've never been around somebody from Canada, so they thought everything was a joke. Like, I'm a serious guy, bro. I'm from a serious place. Like, so there was a lot of proving. Now they know Toronto is what it is, but back in 08, 09, 10, they knew nothing, bro. They had no idea. Like, I was like really a street nigga. Like, niggas know how to and all types of, like, so long story short, I get in a fight at school, get in trouble for that. Go to college, get in fights in school, do dumb shit, and now it's like, all right, you can't play. You can't play this whole season. You're just gonna have to sit. And you're like, all right, man, don't give a fuck. Like, I don't go to no classes. I don't do nothing. I'm just at school. Yeah. So they gave me a chance. I fucked that up. Sophomore year, they're like, all right, bro, you're gonna play this time. Don't fuck up. Go to class. Go to tutoring. Don't do this. Don't do that. Niggas end up getting in trouble, getting arrested for dumb shit, bro. It's just like dumb shit. Like when I look back at it now, I'm like, bro, that is so stupid, bro. So they're like, all right, bro, we had enough of you, bro. Go back to Canada. They sent my ass back home. So they sent my ass back home. This is like 2010. I'm like, I'm 20 years old, 21 years old. And shit, what did I do? I go back to the block, bro. I go back to the block. So now I'm back in G-Way, back to the place where I was trying to get the fuck out of, and back in it. You know what I mean? So it's funny because it's me and Ashton Khan. Ashton Khan gets kicked out of school the same time I get kicked out of school. So long story short, Ashton, we end up, so now we're trying to transfer. So we're trying to go to the same school now. We're trying to go to college, go to the same school, and it's not working out. Like we go to these camps for college guys. We're playing really well, but some coaches don't want to pick us up or whatever. So I'm getting frustrated. Now they don't want to release me from the college. It's just a bunch of mess. I'm like, bro, this is crazy, bro. And I'm like, so you're looking up, like 6 months has gone by. You look up 8 months, 10 months, a year's gone by, like, bro, a whole fucking year, bro. And I'm not in school. I'm like, this is crazy, bro. So what do? You just go right back to what you knew how to do, sell drugs. So you know what I mean? And yeah, bro, that's what we did, dog. And opportunity came knocking. The good thing about it is this. I knew that's not what I wanted to do. And I knew that I had to get out of here one more time, but I had to figure out how I was going to do it. The beauty about all this thing was that I knew a lot of people because of playing ball. And I accumulated such a long list of people, and people in the city knew me everywhere I went. And I had friends and people, and now these people were, working in the nightlife industry, or they were, in the music thing, or they were doing something. You know what I mean? And if they were either in the streets or they were doing something, and I just knew a lot of people. So being able to connect with people and meet club owners and meet this guy, I accumulated just a network that was pretty good at that particular point by the time I was 21. So long story short, I had a friend that introduced me. So this is my introduction to the professional business and entering into the entertainment industry, so to speak. My interest came through the music industry. I came through French Montana and Chinx drugs.
Chinx, okay.
So I got introduced to Chinx, rest in peace. I got introduced to Chinx early on. Yeah, bro, they just took a liking to me, and then French came, and then him and Chinx were like together all the time. So I'd go on the road with them. I would go on, on these trips with them, and I didn't know, like, I didn't know, bro. So I would just like, you wanna host the club? Yeah, how much you want? $5,000. Okay, cool. Yo, you're my boy French, bro. He wants to host the club, and he's like, yo, you know French? Yeah, of course I know French. How much? 5,000? 5,000? Yeah, cool. I'll give you 5,000 for it. My bet. Yo, French, 5,000, bro. I have it for you on this date, on this date. For real? Oh shit, that's crazy. Bring it. All right, boom. Sign contract done. Yeah, I'm gonna connect you with the guy. All right, good. I do it for Chinx. I do it for French. They're getting booked in Toronto, in Montreal. They're on tour. I'm on tour with them. So after getting them booked, and then I'm getting them features with so like the Big Lean record with Chinx, that's me. Who else would you like? So many records that happened early on. I have a lot to do with these because I connected so many artists, Toronto artists from the streets with these niggas. and they would just pay for these features. And then I didn't make no money from this shit early on. I had no idea what was going on until one day, after I did it probably 3, 4, 5 times, the French and Chinx pulled me to the side. They're like, yo, you know, this is a job, right? What you're doing, right? And they never even bothered to tell me, like, you want some money from me? No, I just gave them money. Like, I just go, you know. I was like, man, I'm not gonna ask you, because I'm already making money in the streets. I'm straight. And then they're like, nah, bro, this is a job. Like, you could, it's called a booking agent. You make a percentage for everything you book. Mm-hmm. Bro, you guys should have told me that 5 bookings. So I learned that, and then I'm like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. And I would just be in the rooms, and I'd be a fly on the wall, bro. I was just happy to be in the room because I just want to take in the information. Once I take in the information, I know how to assess and move from there. I mean, so I would just continuously listen, and then I saw how the artist gets booked, how the process works, and then from there. But mind you, artists have multiple people doing this shit for them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm just one of fucking 4 guys that's fucking doing something for these niggas. Mm-hmm. So I start, I meet Lola, I meet Cash and all these people and all around the Cash from EXO, Saul, I meet all these people all around the way. But mind you, like, we're from G-Way, so the whole time Drake is becoming Drake, and we know the man. Then, like, I know Chubbs and Pretty, and these are our older heads. This is my older heads. So, but I'd be around these dudes, and and like, yo, Froggy, call me, I'm there, But I was never really like. I always admired what they're doing, and that's what gave me actually like inspiration. Like, I was like, yo, bro, if Chubbs can make it out of here, bro, I can make it out of here, bro. Like, I saw him do that. I was like, yo, bro, if he could get the fuck out of here like that, I was like, I could do that shit for sure. So he was part of the inspiration to pivot and do it. Because remember, he was just in the streets like all of us. You know what I mean? All in the pasta, all of us. And all of a sudden, these niggas are everywhere, and I'm like, bro, what? So what's going on? I can do that. I can do this. I could play this game. So yeah, bro. So I accumulated that, and I saw what was going on, and I was like, yo, honestly, like, making 10% from these bookings, like, he makes 5,000 and I make 500. Like, I make 5,000 in the streets by myself. That's 2 weeks of work. Like, so I'm like, yo, bro, this is too crazy for me. You know what I mean? So I started learning, though. I started seeing what they were doing. Like, I'm like, oh, okay. So the guy who books the artist, has the venue, and he's making all the money from the tickets and selling liquor. Yeah. How do I become that guy? Because he's the one paying the artist. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna become that guy. So all I gotta do is just have enough money to pay an artist, book the venue, can hold 1,000, 2,000 people, sell the tickets, do partnership with Ticketmaster and all these people, and do that, and then you invest $5,000, $10,000, and you can make 30, 40, 50 grand, 100 grand if it's done right. But that's what you think at first, and you think, oh, this is easy, I could do this. So you go out and try to do it. So I pivoted from booking agent to now becoming the guy who's booking the artist to do the show, to do my own events. And the first artist I booked was Chinx. And I did the event with Littles the Generals, rest in peace, from Toronto, that passed away. That's the first promoter I worked with simultaneously. And then, being on the road with French and Chinx, I got to meet a lot of different artists. And, I met the ASAP crew, ASAP Yang, God bless the dead. And I met Schoolboy Q, Ab-Soul, like, they had a manager. I met those. So I met so many different artists, and I accumulated a network of artists. So now I can start bringing these people to Toronto. But what I saw was that Toronto was just not
ready for it.
Yeah, it wasn't like they didn't, but I had a pipeline to Texas. So I already knew Texas was available for me. And I knew I had these promoters and these different dudes. And so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna bring these artists to Texas. And I started bringing them to Dallas. And yeah, bro, I fucking brought Ab-Soul, brought Schoolboy Q, did some Schoolboy Q, did some, but coming from where we're from, like, you don't put your face or your name on something. Like, you hide in the back, fam. Like, you're just like, nobody should know you're involved. Like, you know what I mean? Like, So for a long time, I would not even like show my face or say that I'm involved in any of this stuff. So this went on for 3 years where nobody knew I was actually doing all of this shit. But I was making money, I was investing into it, but nobody knew me for a while. And I kind of continued like that for a while until I was about 24, 25. So Jose Reyes, I met through a friend who was a clothing designer. Clothing designer asked me to come on board to help him on the marketing aspect for his clothing company. And he was already having success, doing good. And Jose was one of the guys that used to wear his clothes. And then from there, me and Jose built a relationship, and I learned the clothing business. I learned how the whole clothing business went, from manufacturing to distribution to marketing to fucking everything, bro. Wholesale, retail, everything. I learned the whole thing from just this one experience. And that's how me and Jose built the relationship. And then I ended up designing Jose's clothing collection 2 years later down the line for his clothing brand, Sieta. And then, so that's how we built the relationship. So that's how you started seeing me with him and his agent. Yeah, because that's we were doing business like that. So it's funny because I'm going to actually see him next week in New York. I have a store in New York with my partners called La Ropa. Clothing brand, pretty popping right now. So it's out in Soho, Broadway. And then we have another location in Los Angeles, downtown LA. So man. So the music, the fashion, the sports was kind of the world for me together that I kind of brought together. And then and then I went into management after that.
Management. So you kind of mentioned like guys you've been around, like ASAP Crew, Chinx Drugs, French, all these guys, like Tiana Taylor. I see you and her together a lot. Boosie.
She was somebody who people didn't believe in. And mind you, I got with her. She had no music out. And she was just getting booked in these cities. And her PR was my homie. Her public relation person was my homie. And he was also, the public relation was also Serge Ibaka's public relation, Nick Young's public thing, and who else was it? It was, and Tiana's. So I knew this dude, and then that's how I met Nick Young, and then that's how I met that whole crew of people. When PR had a relationship, and then me, but I took a liking to Teyana because when I showed to meet the PR guy, it wasn't to meet Teyana, it was me and the PR guy were gonna do business about some other shit, and then I go to a movie premiere and I meet Teyana, but her energy was just so different. And we went to an event later that night. We were in LA, and then this is early, bro. No album, no nothing, bro. It's just the girl from Sweet 16 that dresses nice and fucking, bro. She'd get on top of the table, start dancing, fucking pop bottles. So she would host the party. So I'd be like, damn, bro, this girl's like, I'm looking at her, I'm like, bro, this girl is talented, bro. I started helping them get booked in different cities, and then I started going, on these events with them and helped them early on, and then the music started coming out. Def Jam didn't really believe in her early on, and I was just, her mother is a great person. That's who manages her, and her stepfather, her mother's boyfriend, and these are my people, bro. So I built a great relationship with that family, and that's not my sis, bro. She's my sis, so I got nothing but love for her.
That's dope. And next person I see you interact with a lot, like this guy, like people who watch the podcast know that, like, yo, I love Boosie. Boosie's fucking hilarious, bro. Like he comes across as like somebody who's just genuine. Like maybe people might not agree with what he says, but he always gives it to you real.
So I was managing an artist named Dorrough Music out of Dallas. And and Boosie just beat his case. Mm-hmm. So Boosie and Dorrough had music together, and the music got destroyed in the hard drives that the feds confiscated from Boosie when he got charged. Yeah. So all the music got wiped out.
That's crazy.
So Boosie's going through what he's going through, and then in about 2014 or 15 or something, I can't remember what year it was, but I meet Dorrough while I'm on the road with Teyana. So funny, I'm on the road with Teyana, and then we're stopping in Texas. We're in Dallas. We're at an after party for Tiana Taylor and August Alsina tour, And the DJ introduces me to Dorrough and says, "Yo, man, you got to meet Froggy, man. Come on, meet Dorrough, man. He's in Dallas. Cool, you know, whatever." So me and him started a relationship, and he's like, "Yo, you know, can you manage me?" And I was like, "I mean, I don't really manage artists. Like, you know, we could do some booking, we could do some, but I don't really manage." Like, no, like, I think you'd be really good at this. I said, I was gonna do it eventually. I knew I was going that route, but I just didn't know if this is the guy that I wanted to be the first guy I do it.
Yeah.
But the opportunity presented itself, and I was like, okay, this guy had a good run about 2 years, 3 years prior to me meeting him, and you know the flame was dying out. But what a story would be if I was able to revive this guy's career and help him, you know, get back to the top or whatever, you know, at least to some relevancy. So I took on the challenge, and then you know we worked really well together, and then and you know I would basically A&R the fucking projects. I would fucking executive produce the project, and then him and Boosie had that relationship. Boosie beats his charge. Boosie comes home, maybe like a couple of days into being home, he calls Dorrough. He says, "Yeah, let's make another record." They make a record, and the record becomes a smash. So we start moving the record on radio. We're moving the record on radio in the southern region. So Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Louisiana. So now the record is picking up traction. So it's like, we got to shoot a video for this shit. So fly Boosie down. Boosie comes down to Dallas. One of my friends has a mansion. So I call him like, "Yo, I need your mansion, bro. Like, we got to shoot this video. Like, this vision is crazy, but the record's called Beat Up the Block. I swang on that Beat Up the Block. Go watch that video. It's a world time. It's fucking amazing. You'll see me in there. You'll laugh when you watch it." But that was the first time me and him met. And bro, when I tell you, dog, that man right there, bro, is the funniest fucking most loving freaking bro. Boosie he is just a great time, bro. Like, I've never been around him where we're not dying of laughter, bro. Like, but he's just like a natural. He's a serious guy, though. Don't get it twisted. It's not he's all the time, but he's a person that knows how to make everybody feel good and comfortable. You know what I mean? And his brother Shaw, who handles all of his business. And yeah, man, he's just good people, bro. Really good people. So me and him ended up building a relationship.
That's dope. So I want to pivot to another person who, God rest his dead, who everybody knows was one of them ones. Well, like one of them ones who, like, he's a real dude, you know. And you had a relationship with Nip. I want to talk about that. Like, what was that like, man? That relationship with Nip.
Yeah. So again, it was another one where I was with Dorrough. It's so crazy because me and Dorrough spent so much time traveling the country that I like it just. When I look back, I'm like, damn, bro, me and this guy went everywhere, bro. So, and
really on the road.
Yeah, I was on the road heavy, bro, because we were touring so much. And I got to tell you the story. Dorrough puts a record out called Ice Cream Paint Job back in, like, yeah, buddy, rolling like a big shot. Clean on the inside, clean on the outside, Ice Cream Paint Job. He performs at the BET Awards. He's performing at the BET Awards. He has a remix. He has 2 different remixes to the record. And then he has that Get Big record. He has like 3 platinum records, all like going on at one time. The Ice Cream Paint Job record, he does a remix with Snoop. But Snoop asks him, he says, "Yo, can you have my young artist? His name is Nipsey Hussle." And Dorrough didn't know who he was. Didn't know nothing about his music. Didn't know nothing about him. Snoop being like, "Yo, can you put my young boy on the record?" Like, you know, and Dorrough's like, "Yo, for you, Unc, yeah, bro. Like, if he's your artist, I'm gonna. But this is the biggest record. This is like top 5 record of the country at the time. Yeah, number 1 on radio, number 1 record. And he's about to perform at the BET Awards. And he brings out Nipsey Hussle to perform at the BET Awards, but nobody knows who he is.
That's crazy.
So that's how they built that relationship. So Nipsey's a loyal dude. From that moment on, he's always showed love to Dorrough from that time. So we're in LA. I used to spend a lot of time in LA back in 2000 and like 13, 14, 15. And that's the first time I met him. And it's so crazy, bro. Life is a very weird work in a very, very weird way. You can meet somebody through somebody, but then you guys can end up building like a crazy relationship aside from what you. So that's essentially what happened.
Yeah.
We would all be together, spend time together. But I think I got to take it back to 2012, 2011. In 2011, when I got kicked out of school and I went back to Toronto, 2010, 2011, whatever year that was, I used to be outside and we used to be trapping hard.
Yeah.
And, Gifted, that was my right-hand man.
Yeah.
So me and Gifted is basically Nipsey Hussle. It's the same person. Literally, we would just listen to Nipsey. That's all we would listen to is Nipsey Hussle the whole time. Driving, listen. Nobody knew who this nigga was, but we was listening to his music in 2011 and 12. Like, we're like, wow, this guy's so like, he was saying the things that we were thinking. We were trying to figure out how to transition out. You know what I mean? And then luckily I got out, but the thing that happened with Gift was supposed to be my partner in this whole thing. This whole journey I'm on, this would be me and Gift together. That's the craziest part about all of this. But that one day, that one night, that changed everything.
Everything.
You know what I mean? And you know what? And a week before that happened, I flew out. Me and him was supposed to do that party together. That was going to be our first event. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, a few weeks before it happened, I flew out. And it happened. Yeah, bro. But long story short, I used to listen to this nigga shit. So when I met the nigga, I felt like I already knew him because I knew everything about his records. You know what I mean? So I'm like, bro, like I feel like I know this nigga already, bro. And it's like, it's another kindred spirit, man. We really got to bond and build outside of the relationship between me, him, and Dorrough. Me and him aside, like I'd start going to LA because I stopped managing Dorrough after a while. And before I stopped managing Dorrough, I became the creative director and designer for the Dallas Cowboys. So I did that for about 2 seasons. I worked a deal out where we made Dorrough the brand ambassador for the team. Because remember, I saw what Drake did. Hip hop culture has basically interjected itself. It's always been intertwined, but corporations were scared of hip hop because it was like so black, and they were just like, nah, I don't like. We'd rather listen to Bruce Springsteen when none of the players listen to this shit. You know what I mean? But you guys are doing this because you guys are fucking 60 years old. Bro, bring in the hip hop shit. That's what the grassroots is. That is what cool is. Your kids listen to us. They don't listen to that shit. You feel what I'm saying? So no disrespect to that music or any kind of it, but hip hop is the #1 genre in the world for a reason. And the cultural impact of it was strong. So I was able to convince the Dallas Cowboys that this is the best move and this is what needs to happen, because we were already making music for them and we were already licensing out music to them. So we were already in business with them. So knowing the lawyers, knowing the marketing team, I got introduced to the president of the merchandising department, Bill Precos, and then he took a liking to me. I already had a fashion background. I knew how to design product. I knew how to roll the product out, because by that time I'm about 6 years, so I'm about 25, 26, and I've already done 5 years of this shit already. So it's like, I'm a pro at what I do. And I knew what to do at that particular point, bring a deal together. And we made a deal happen. And Dorrough became the first artist to sign a deal with a major league NFL team. And I became the first creative director and designer for the Dallas Cowboys ever. You know what I mean? Yeah, dog. So a lot of people don't know a lot of this shit, like, you know what I mean? Because I don't really be outside poking my chest out about it. Because to me, it's like, it's just something I did, and it's like I'm just on to the next thing. Because now look where I'm at. Like I'm so far removed from all of that. Like,
so you went from ball to the music stuff, and now, like, as I kind of touched on earlier, like Earl Spence Jr. just won his fight. You got the Diaz brothers who are always beating up somebody. You got Francis, who's a world heavyweight champion. You got your young boy Tristan, who just came back and won. You got all these guys who are in the fight game now. So now you kind of transition from music to now you in the fight game. What's that like, man? So
the music game was cool. It was good, but and you gotta understand, there's another thing people don't know, bro. Stickz from Southside.
Yeah.
Okay. Stickz has some exclusive footage. You need to call Stickz and talk to Stickz.
It's crazy. I actually connected with Stickz on a flight coming back from Calgary to Toronto. It's crazy.
this was like 2000 and he's like, I want to come to the States and check you. And this is 2017. And I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, bro, I just want to come down there for a week or whatever. I said, I bet. I said, all right. I said, I got some shit for you when you come down here. He comes down and he has no idea what's going on or nothing. I have these two kids named Little Pump and Smoke Perp. Now, nobody knows who these guys are yet. They're not. This is SoundCloud era. So I'm done with the Cowboys. I'm done with the Dorrough thing. I'm on like this new wave of looking for like the next young.
With Ian Connor, same time.
Ian Connor, like all of that. So it's that new wave, that age where it's like, you know what I mean? The motherfuckers don't know what the fuck going on. So long story short, so he comes down and I have Little Pump and Smoke Perp. Nobody knows who these guys are. Only like underground know who they are. And it's their first show ever. And we're putting on their first show ever. There's probably like 50, maybe 40 people in the crowd, maybe if that. All kids. And Stickz has the camera on the whole day that day. So he has all of this footage of Little Pump and Smoke Perp and me and Warhol and all these young rappers before they become big millionaires and we're doing shows together. He has all this footage. So these kids used to be me and my team distributed their music because I started going into music distribution. And basically what happened with music is I just got kind of burnt out of how the system works. I didn't like the way the game was played. I didn't like how the infrastructure was structured, and I didn't like any of it. I wasn't too keen on how they were playing the game. I didn't like how the game was being played. So being who I am and being an independent guy that I am, if I don't like how a game is played, I don't play the game. I go play another game because I don't need to be in one place. I'm a multi-talented guy, and once I'm able to do something, put my mind to something, I could do it. You know what I mean? And so I got kind of burnt out from the music game. I mean, sitting down with all these music execs and every record. I've sat down so many record labels, bro, you wouldn't believe it. And I've done business with a lot of them, and I just didn't like how the business structure is. And I didn't appreciate the fact that we're just straight up robbing niggas. And it's like, I'm basically taking these kids and I'm bringing them to you and you're just cutting their fucking head off. And then I'm just getting money for it. That's basically what you're doing. And I'm like, I don't like to play this game. I don't want to play like this. You know what I mean? But in the process of that, I've always had a profound love for sports, obviously, and in combat sports, something I've always watched. Growing up in the hood, we fight outside all the time. So if you look at my track history, I've been getting in trouble for fighting every single time. So it was like, I met a guy named a world champion named Jean Pascal from Montreal. He was the light heavyweight champion of the world. I was on tour with French and Chinx. I'll never forget this. I'm on tour with French and Chinx. We're stopped in Montreal. We do the show. We're supposed to do an after party. Chinx is too tired. French doesn't want to. He has too many things he's trying to crush. There's money available. So the club owner goes, yo, you know what? It's all good, Froggy. You just come. I show up to the club. I have a couple of things with me. I show up to the club. I'm at a table. It's just me and three things. And then literally sitting beside me to the side is this dude. He got a couple chains on. He got a couple chicks with him popping bottles. And then I'm like, yo, I know that guy. Where do I know that guy? This is 2011, 12. Like, I know this nigga. Why the fuck I know this nigga? And I'm seeing him and he's watching me, I'm watching him, whatever. And he goes, we're in Montreal. So, I'm from Toronto. So I was like, what's going on around me? Like, pre what's happening, So I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? So the man sent the bottle to my table, fam. So I'm like, bro, what? Like, this guy's trying to stand on me, trying to sell you a bottle. So he sent me the bottle. So the club owner, I know the guy, he walks me down. I'm like, let me go thank this guy. I'm like, yo, bro, this is Jean Pascal. I know this nigga. He's the fucking light heavyweight champion. He just lost his belt to Bernard Hopkins. I know this nigga. So I'm like, yo, bro, champion, respect. Boo, 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 boo. I said, yo, any of my things are your things, fam. The man was so happy, bro. And then we just became real cool friends from there. But here's what's important about it. He's like, we start building a relationship, and he's like, yo, you should come to Montreal more. I just bought a $3 million house. You should come stay with me. And train and hang out. And, so he's just kind of like keeping me around him a little bit. And I'm spending like weeks at a time in Montreal. And, so now I'm watching how a fighter lives, a high level fighter, a guy making millions, a guy that's a world champion. So I'm learning the fight business right then and there. Like it's all happening right there. He's his own promoter, signed a deal with a promotional company. He's selling out the Bell Center, 17,000 headlining. You know what I mean? And I'm watching this whole thing, and he hired this trainer, and I was like, bro. So I kept a mental note of it in the back of my mind. Fast forward 5 years later, 2016, 17, I get burnt out from the music business, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go this route. And then that's when I started going into the fight business, slowly but surely. It's all intertwined. But my first client in the fight business was ended up being Nick Diaz. That's the first guy I ever signed. But I knew Earl Spence already. But see, the problem was Nick Diaz, he's from Dallas. So I already knew him from being from Dallas. So we already kind of like are rubbing shoulders. He's my brethren, but I met Nick Diaz. And I already knew, and I knew Kamaru Usman and his brother. That's the world champion at welterweight right now. That's the number one fighter in the world, Kamaru Usman. He's from Dallas too, but he's Nigerian. So I knew him and his family. So I ended up meeting Nick Diaz, and he's suspended. You know what I mean? So it's like he's probably like in year 2 or 3 of his suspension. So I can't do shit with this motherfucker. He can't fight for another 3 years. So I just figured out how to make him money while he's suspended, and then get him prepared to return when it's time to return. And it wasn't easy. It took 4 years for him to fight again, bro. You know what I mean? And from the time that I met him till he was suspended in 2016. From the time I met him, he didn't fight till last year, September 2021. That was the first time he fought, bro. Wow. And the whole time, bro, no fights, no nothing. And I'm just coming up with strategic ways for him to, build the brand and make money, and for us to continue to keep the brand alive. Luckily, his younger brother became a star in the process of him. So it all kind of worked well together. And then from Nick, I met Nate, and then it's family business now. So those are my brothers. But those guys introduced me to jiu-jitsu and gave me a greater understanding of mixed martial arts to the point where I just have a profound respect for it. I'm really a boxing guy in a fight world. I'm looked at as a boxing guy that crossed into the MMA world. So now I'm like a hybrid of both. And I do business with the UFC. I've done business with PFL. I've done business with a lot of different companies. Dana White.
Dana White, Robert Schultz, Dana White.
Yeah, I negotiated. I went back and forth with negotiations with the UFC for a while for a couple of guys. I've negotiated big, bro. Basically, bro, my job is to negotiate. My job is to come up with creative ideas and then negotiate fucking deals and get the best deal possible for my guys. That's literally what I do. I sit down and I fucking look at the fucking shark in his face and I tell him what it's gonna be and how it's gonna be, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, dog. So because you can't strike fear into me because.
Been there.
What's a boardroom to me?
Yeah,
bro? I have to sit there with fucking murderers, fam. Like, do you know what it's like to live with people that fucking catch bodies, bro? You know what it's like to see a man get dropped in front of you? You know what it's like? Like the intensity, they don't understand like how it feels to be in an environment where you could die every day. And they don't know what that's like, bro. And I had to live like that from the age of 8. So what is it like? You can't intimidate me. You got a suit on, fam. We're like, bro, I don't need to in the face. Like, what's the contract? Like, what's the contract? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then in the streets, there's no contract. It's a handshake, fam. Your word is all you got to say. Yo, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have that work for you. Yo, you don't consign me. Give me that work. I'm gonna buy X amount from you, and then you're gonna give me a couple on top of that. I gotta bring that back to you at a certain time. And we're not signing a contract for that, fam. Like, we're shaking hands and saying, yo, this is what it is. Make sure you're ready on that day. And that's it, bro. And if you don't, you're going to pay a price for it. It's an award thing or you're getting dropped or you got to drop something. So it's getting ugly. So you always kind of stay the line. So when it came to this type of business, I was like, bro, you don't know who I know, bro. Like, you don't even think me a bit. Like, so it built a callus for me. That's why you always see, and that's another thing you understand. That's why you always see these niggas that used to sell drugs get into the corporate game, and they always kill it because their system is, you can't scare them. People are scared of business. People are scared of negotiation. People are scared. You can't scare Hove. You can't scare Dame. You can't scare P from QC. You can't scare these guys. These guys have all been in crazy situations. So what's the negotiation? The negotiating is what they did. You know what I mean? So I kind of look at it that way. Like, it's just I'm numb to the bullshit. You know?
Facts. No, that's tough, bro. I mean, that kind of brings us to the end of everything, man. And I want to say, no, I appreciate you jumping on here, chopping it up with me, you know, talking about your experiences, talking about your journey. You and I kind of touched on it earlier, but like seeing this and having people kind of being able to see the story that's similar to theirs, you know, because as I said, where we come from, it's not a lot of people get out to make money and get out to coach or get out to train or get out to kind of bump shoulders. Not a lot of people get that. And when you can show that story and you can kind of talk to people who are like that, is really, really dope. Really dope. And I appreciate you, man, joining me on here today.
Yeah, man. You know, it's and that's one of the reasons why I chose to do this with you, is because you know, one, we have a relationship. I don't do interviews, bro, ever. You know what I mean? And you know, I'm really busy doing the things that I do and whatnot. And you know, having a full roster of guys like this and moving around the country so much is a very you know, very busy time for me, tedious you know, task for me. So, but I thought it was important that that I'm able to give you this so that you could give it to the youngins. And it has to come a point in your life where you have to make a decision to go. You can't have both feet in. You can't have one foot in, one foot. You gotta go one way, and you gotta just go. And you can't be afraid to go. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna get scary. Independence is rough, but you gotta do it. And once you do it, it's just gonna get better as time progresses. But you gotta you have to come over hurdles. There's hurdles you gotta cross. You know, we talk about all the good stuff, funny stuff, but nobody knows the times that I had to go through, or the things that I had to, you know, being independent and, you know, doing all of this shit. If you notice, throughout this whole time, I never spoke to you about a job. I've never had a 9 to 5. Like, you know, I went from the streets to this, and
to that.
Yeah. So to build a company and build myself up to this particular point just came with a lot of, you know, self-belief and consistently I was just persistent and consistent, and nobody was going to tell me no. You know, I wasn't going to take no for an answer, no point, and I was just going to keep fighting until I got it to where it needs to be. And that's when life is going to reward you, when you continue to fight. You know, so young guys out there, you got to keep fighting, and then you know, it's hard for guys. Another thing before I let you go, guys that are hooping right now, not all you guys are going to go pro, not all you guys are going to, you know, it's not going to happen. What happens is they have a hard time figuring out an identity for themselves because everybody knows. Yeah, you know, like that's not what life's about. Life's about evolution, bro. And you have to evolve. Like you gotta shed one skin to get to the next skin. Then you shed that skin to get to the next skin. It's like a reptile, it's like a snake, or it's like, I don't want to say snake, but it's like a reptile. You know, you gotta shed that skin, you know, like a fucking butterfly, you know what I mean? So all these things matter, you know what I mean? And yeah, man, fucking that's what it is, and that's what it's gonna be. And yeah, just, you know, best of luck to you and the squad over there. Tell my young boy Tyrone King I say what up. I wish him all the best. And yeah, man, it was a pleasure to get on here and share the story with you a little bit. And you know, just look out for these fights, these big fights that we got coming up, man. All right,
bro, I'm watching, bro. Like, I'm watching. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for, like, I know Errol Spence wants it, but I'm waiting for that Errol Spence and Crawford fight. That's the fight I'm waiting for.
That's a big one. Errol is a great friend of mine, and I think he's the best welterweight in the world. You know, but right now I'm very focused on my young guys, and young guys are gonna make a lot of noise, bro, in the next year or so. Like heavyweight guys, and you'll see. Like everything else, you'll just see it as it happens, man. This nigga told me this shit again. You know what I mean? So,
man. All right, man. But I appreciate you. That's been episode of Francis and Friends. Shout out to the chat room podcast, everybody up there. But yeah, we out of here, y'all. Appreciate y'all.
All right, peace.